Hi guys, Evans with Z111 here today bringing this month's episode of Pleas. And if you don't know what the series is, it is a series where my patrons can suggest games for me to play and I go and play them. Pretty straightforward, and as you can see through this pretty straightforward loading screen, it's not even a loading, it's a menu screen, and it is this basic. I'm playing The Forest, and I'll jump into a new game. I should mention this is my first game of The Forest. I haven't played it before. And there's a reason for that. Usually I'm all over this open world survival, go out and fight the wilderness stuff, and of all those games, The Forest was one that did it really well. Well, I say really well. It did it to a high quality of graphics and animations and everything first. It was one of the first ones to do that, at least recently on early access on Steam. But it's, in my eyes, it's the beginning of the downfall of these sorts of games. So graphically and animation wise, the game is just really good, and when they released the trailer, it looked incredible, and it was the sort of game I would have loved, but then I was skeptical, and here we go, it's the beginning of said downfall. I think it's just, this opening is good, I will get that out of the way, and sorry if I'm shouting, it's so loud, but I will wait for the crash, and Jesus Christ, I forgot how crazy this intro was. It makes me realise why I'm terrified of planes. I think it's just dull. It's not fun. You do get games like Minecraft, like Daisy, where I can go on listing examples for years. There's Mr. Terrifying Dude, who steals who I presume is my son. It's just not fun. Like, you can go down and cut down trees. That's one of the things I thought was great about this game. Oh yeah, shit, I totally forgot to mention. It was Joe who recommended this game. I believe it was Joe. I'm really sorry if it's not Joe. It was Joe who asked me to play The Forest. So thanks a lot for your support. But yeah, it's your typical, you've crashed on a desert island. Well, no, in a forest, not a desert island. But you could replace it with a desert island. It would be exactly the same pretty much. And you have to eat, you have to get shelter, you have to build stuff. I don't know where the hell I got this axe from, I wasn't paying attention there. Can I just... No, okay, unfortunately not. I can't resort to cannibalism yet. But you can see, this is on low graphics, because I don't want there to be stuttering whilst recording or anything of the sort. But it really looks good, and it did have so much promise. The trailer was great, but then you've seen what the game has to offer now. That's it. I can go around, I can explore the island, I can build shelters, but why do I want to? Why do I want to live? The fact trees actually fall down, they don't just disappear or explode in a load of blocks, well, I say. I thought that was really cool to begin with, but I don't know how I can say this. You can make a survival game as polished as you want, but unless what you're polishing is worth having, then there's no point polishing it. And a lot of survival games, they don't really have a purpose. Like, even Ark, for the dinosaur game, where it's like this, but replace the forest monsters with dinosaurs and make them tameable. Even that, I would say, has limited scope. And that's really ambitious, and there's a lot you can do with that. Also, I'm just going to kind of go around and cut trees if I keep doing this, so I will actually open my survival box. The menus and everything... The menus and everything in this are really cool, I will say that. Let's try and build a shelter, that's going to be my mission. So if I didn't mean to play for that, but there we go, it looks like this is where my shelter's going to be. I've got some leaves I can do for that, but until then I think I'm just going to have to cut down trees. When it's massively multiplayer, you can go and tame dinosaurs, you can level up, you've got stats. Then there's something to work towards, and that's what I think that's what makes Ark good. But with something like this, even if they added an objective, even if they added escape methods off the island or a way to colonize it or something of the sort, I think there's just not much point. Yes, surviving is fun, but eventually you're going to be doing the same thing every day, and it's just a matter of... In fact, I think I've worked it out. I think I've worked out what my problem with it is. It's just going to crush my shelter. It's... I remembered the point and then I forgot it straight away. You're working towards something. No, in fact, what the hell was I going to say? I've legitimately forgotten the really good point I was about to make, but I think a lot of, like, people in the comments are either going to agree with me or straight up disagree with me and think I'm being wrong, but I think these survival games are a dying genre. They were successful for a moment, but all you're doing is surviving, and surviving in itself isn't fun anymore, even when it's difficult. And all they're really doing is giving you new ways to survive, and giving you things you can do whilst you're surviving, but that's it. Sometimes you make them really scary and stuff, but I don't think there's much point in doing so. So this is the sort of game I would love, and there are so many games like it now, especially on Steam Early Access, like Rust and whatnot. And there are probably many, many better ones than The Forest. But I don't think it's the sort of game I will ever play anymore. They've been come and gone as far as I'm concerned. Why is there a bomb there? Can I blow this up for some reason? That's another thing, like the intuition, or the, I'm not sure what it's called when something requires intuition, but they should just be, you should be able to pick them up and know what you're doing. A lot of the time you don't, and you have to look up guides, and things aren't really explained, like why did I just throw a rock? Is that for a distraction or something similar to Far Cry? Why am I building a shelter? What good does having a shelter do? And a lot of these games, they try to make it entertaining through trial and error, as in, oh yeah, the first night you do like you really suck and you have no idea what you're doing, and that's part of the fun. And I'm really sorry, I don't think not knowing what you're doing should ever be part of the fun. It can be, but it doesn't make for a fun experience, it makes for a learning experience. And if I want a learning experience, then I'll go and do something else, like play Dota, and I can suck at that, but actually get better. Yeah, I'm actually bored already, even though I'm recording and there's so many things I could do right now. I'm giving up with my shelter, and I'm really sorry for the lackluster video, but I think this is just a testament to not being able to make a video on a game unless you enjoy it. Let's get down this cliff, I want to see what that boat is. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing the other games much more than this one, so I don't know why I did this one first. It's pretty backwards. I did get down to the cliffside. Can I just ride this boat off the surface? Just to mention, Sims Castaway was one of my favourite games. That was a survival game, but I'm afraid it was done a million times better than this. I got some rope. Awesome, now I can hang myself. So in complete contrast to The Forest, a game which I was really hoping to like and then really disliked, this is a game which I was really hoping to dislike and I actually really liked, which is Lightning Return, suggested by Super Potato Supreme, or just Spud, I'll call you Spud. I've played this a fair amount. As you can see, I've got a lot of saves from lots of different points, from lots of different troubling times in the game, and not wanting to spoil anything, I'm going to have to jump cut to when I am in game. And here we go, this is the Wildlands, the open plains area of the game. One of the reasons it's my favourite is you get this little chocobo here which can help you get around and navigate the area. The map of the game is, I think it has been larger in previous games, definitely, and it's mainly split into 3 separate areas. So as I said, this is the Wildlands, and if I go to the world map, you have Syrian, which is another city, you have the Dead Dunes, and then yeah, that's it actually. You have obviously dungeons within those areas and everything of the sort, but I think that's one necessary detail. This game, it's part of the Final Fantasy XIII trilogy, so you got Final Fantasy XIII, you got Final Fantasy XIII-2, and then you got Final Fantasy Lightning Returns, which is this one. And you don't need to have played those previous ones in order to enjoy this one, and this one is like a completely different game if I'm honest, so without beating around the bush, I'm going to quickly check my schemata just so I know what I'm doing. Okay, that is about right. This is the combat equipment system, which is, well, I'm going to get into it because it was pretty complicated, and I will jump into combat first because it will be much easier to explain in combat. So let's not go back in the menu. This is the controls are a problem with this game, one which it did take some getting used to. So you can navigate the combat field like this. My chocobo will act autonomously, he will attack, but I can move around and I can do my own things. You can see I've got 4 skills in the bottom right. This is going to be like an abridged version of a combat, so don't expect anything in depth. But those skills, you can all customize them with what you're wearing, basically. What you're wearing is your skill, your class, whatever you want to call it. And all of them will come with preset skills, then you can customize the other ones. So I've got 3 costumes equipped, which is what you will have for the majority of the game. I've got Sand Fox, I've got Celestial Body, and I've got Hidden Justice. You can switch between them as much as you want. They all come with different weapons, different shields, different abilities, and this is all going to sound overwhelming, but I promise it's not as complicated as it sounds. And you basically want to assign each one its own unique playstyle. So with this one is my debuff class, so if I class Deprotect, it will make him vulnerable to physical attacks. Then I can go to Celestial Body, which is one of my attacker classes, then I can just go in and do loads of physical attacks like this. The animations are all really cool, and like there's a lot of skills, and all the skills are fully animated. They all look really awesome, and I completely destroyed that enemy because frankly he was really weak. I have never seen this many enemies, legitimately I've never seen that many together. But now I can have a battle that lasts longer than a few seconds. I can cast that, it will deprotect all of them, it will stagger a few of them, and then I can cast something like Blizzard, which will do ice damage and actually heal them, because I completely forgot to take into consideration their elemental weaknesses. You can easily just press shift and it will show you a bestiary of the enemies. It will show you how to stagger them, which is like you put them in a mode where you can do loads of damage and they can't attack. It shows you all the things they drop, it shows you where you can find them, and it shows their vulnerabilities. It's really simple, it's straightforward, and it's not overcomplicated. And I'd say the majority of this game, it isn't overcomplicated, it just makes sense. And the combat system is unlike any other Final Fantasy game that I've played, but it's, at the same time, it's depth. It's not just you run in and you spam attack over and over again. In fact, I would say that was more the case in the classic Final Fantasies, which I'm a big fan of. But with this one, it's much more, you really have to think about the different loadouts you have. It's kind of like a cross between a fighting game and an RPG, because you don't want to be spamming attacks. But you need to have a good mix of everything. You need to have a good mix of spells, you need to have a good mix of status debuffs, and you need to have like cures and everything if you get inflicted with status debuffs. And it's very in-depth, it requires a lot of thought. And if I go into the schemata, I'll swap out Hidden Justice, my spellcaster, for now, with just one of these. This is my Final Fantasy VII costume with the Buster Sword. I'll show you all of the weapons available, all of which have like very unique appearances and all have different skills and stats associated with them. Then you got all the shields, which you can have again. Some have unique skills, some look really unique, some have some are really useful for multiple reasons. And in fact, what I'll do is these are all the garbs, these are like the classes, and there are loads. If I scroll down, I'm near the end of the game, but I haven't got all of them. This is just an example. They all look awesome, and it's just, I don't know why this game got so much hate. I honestly don't. There's a few of the DLC robes here at the beginning. I need to find one with was it Elementa? Elementa was an awesome one, but it's a different one I'm looking for that has a really powerful attack. It might be Buster. No, I'm trying to find it. I will find it. Magnet Fear, Thunder Fire. You can see the skills at the top right, and the UI might seem a little overwhelming, but you do get used to it. Honestly, I'm really familiar with this. Blitz. I can't find whether wait, Lancet. No, that's like the Dragoon class. But long story short, there's a lot of abilities and a lot of skills, and you can really customize how you play. You can really customize the sort of. Oh no, wait, I know why I can't find it. It's because it's Cosmocrator. It's here, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. Look at this. This looks like something straight out of Soul Calibur. But as you can see, maximum HP and maximum HP again, 95% reduction and strength reduction. But I'll quickly show you this just because it has an awesome ability associated with it. Cosmic Arts. You can customize all the abilities here. And again, the ability list will be even longer than the others. And you can combine abilities to upgrade them and everything. And it's just, there's so much depth that I think has been lacking in previous Final Fantasy games, if I'm perfectly honest. And the story's alright, it's nothing to write home about, but it does its job as a story. I'd say the gameplay is what kept me playing this, and just the amount of content. This is one of the rifts, so I will actually find a strong-ish enemy in here. If I go in, and I'll enter like the Shadow Realm, I can find these rift shards on the ground. I just want to find an enemy, please. Can I hopefully get one of the big enemies? No, okay, I've just got these little plant dudes. I'll show you the Cosmocrator class just to show off the animations, and then that will be the end of the video. So if I switch to Cosmocrator, I do take a lot of damage on this class, but this, you can't even see it because the Chocobo's fireballs, and then I died straight away. But I got Phoenix Downs, and I can revive if I use my EP to do so. Oh, I've got to show you Army of One. Army of One is like this ultimate powerful ability. It's the equivalent of a limit break, but unfortunately it is the equivalent of a limit break. It's the only press that, and then I press this. This will show you the Army of One ability. It just looks so cool. The animations are insane. But yeah, if you were on the fence about Final Fantasy XIII Lightning Returns, I recommend it. Don't expect a Final Fantasy experience. Go into it expecting something new, and you will get something new. You'll get something good, something polished, and you'll get what I've shown you. I've only just scratched the surface. There is honestly so much to it, and yeah, I do recommend it. Can I show you Cosmic Arts now? It's like, it's a really powerful skill, and it's I mean, I love it when games have good animations, and this is one of those games. But yeah, I will not go on any longer than is necessary. This has been the video on Lightning Returns. Thanks a lot, Spud, for recommending it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Oh, Undertale. I had no idea how long I was going to go before having to make a video on this at some point. But here you go. Here's my video. Courtesy of Jess, my patron, who requested me to play Undertale. As you can see, I haven't finished Undertale. This is my first playthrough, and I'm not at the end. I'm at Snowdin Town. I'm not sure how far in that is. And Undertale is that game that has been unavoidable on the internet recently. Everyone has been going crazy about it, and I can't understand why. It's got its appeal, and as a game, if you take strictly the gameplay here, not the plot or anything surrounding it, it's nothing fantastic, and I'm sorry if you're going to contest that. It does have some cool mechanics, like not having to fight the bosses and having ways of avoiding them. And I suppose the combat in itself, even if it is essentially a bullet hell but a unique one. Am I just going to freeze to death if I go this way? I don't think I've ever been this way. What is the point of going this way? Oh no, this is where the dogfight is. I have no idea where I'm going. It's got memorable characters, it's got a unique plot, it's got cool concept. Have I been here? It's been a while since I last picked this up. It's got some puzzles and stuff in it which people like, and I think what's key about it, obviously I'm going to avoid spoiling this for people because I don't think you'd ever forgive me if I did. I actually have no idea where I'm going, so this is all new stuff for me. And is that sounds? Is it Papyrus? Undine or Undine? I have no idea. I know a lot about this character, but this is my first time meeting her. I was also tempted to call her him just to piss people off. It's the sort of a game where the fans of it really, really like it and go crazy about it. And it does really clever things that other games have done, but never a game that's been as popular as this. Hell, Metal Gear Solid does the kind of things that this does at points. Not to such an extent, and it doesn't revolve around it as much, but it has the same elements. I think Undertale, it's a good game, but it's getting a lot more praise than I think it should, just because it's one of those indie games that has been exposed so much in social media and everything that a lot of people are trying it when they normally wouldn't, and if they tried other games they would get things that they're getting in this game. It looks like Undine didn't notice me. I think the music is definitely one of the awesome points. Like, I have gone and listened to the soundtrack, and it's one of those things I really enjoy. I thought we were going to get a battle then, and that would have been great. No, I've just got another save point. I've literally walked across a long corridor and found a fish. Did you see the way she was staring at you? That was awesome. I've never met this character. Am I meant to know who he is? What do you do to get her? Oh, he's like he's obsessed with Undine. I don't actually know anything about Undine. I just heard about. I think the story is really cool. Am I going to just get more puzzles? I kind of want to show the combat. When the forebridge seeds align in the water, they will sprout. I think the weird thing, like, I've had this game spoiled to shit for me. But the weird part is, I've never actually seen a full playthrough of it. I haven't done a full playthrough myself, and I've seen the beginning of the game about, I don't know, I'd say 10 times. But I've never seen it through to the end. People always seem to get until the halfway point, but never really finish it. Okay, Aaron flexes in. I was like, wait a second, I didn't call my character Aaron, but this is the enemy. So, this is for combat, basically. You have the options. You can fight it, which involves hitting a bar at the right time, or you can act, where you can do multiple things. So I can shoo it away, I can flex it, I can flex to it, or I can check it to see what its stats are and stuff. So it has a lot of horsepower. I'm sure it's harder to dodge at the bottom of the box, so I'll dodge at the top of the box. Then you are a heart, and you have to avoid anything that appears on the screen. And this is where it does get cool, because there are loads of unique, I guess what they are is mini games. And some of them do get really unique, and again, it is hard to say without spoiling it. But essentially you have to work out how to defeat all these enemies, which is, I'd say, my favourite part of the game, one I find most entertaining. So let's see what happens if I flex in front of him. Flexes twice as hard. Attack increases for you too. So do I have to outflex him and then give him mercy? You can choose how you play the game. I'm terrible. You can choose to either kill the enemies or spare the enemies, and generally people go all one way or all the other way, and there's this kind of very elitist community of, oh no, do a pacifist run, otherwise you're a terrible person. And that's one of the things that frustrates me, the people saying you should play like this, you should play like that, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. I'm going to stick to the top following his advice, but right now it looks so it's easy at the bottom. And that is one of the things, like, it's people backseat game when watching people play Undertale. He flexes himself out the room, I spare him, he spared himself for me. And it would be nice to just play the game how you want, instead of people criticising your every decision. And do I need to put, I think I need to put all 4 flowers in before they sprout. What does this sign say? If an error is made, the bell blossom can call bridge seeds back to where they started. Okay, so that's a reset. What does activating all these do? Nothing? There is totally like a secret with those. Also there's a sign down there which I can't seem to get to. Oh, whoops. Wait, I think maybe they all need to be touching each other. As a hunch. Well, I guess now I can leave the sign. But other than the backseat gaming, one of the issues I find is that it's one of those games where people say, oh, you need to do multiple playthroughs before you can fully appreciate it. And I find that annoying as well. Like, I don't want to have to play through a game multiple times in order to enjoy it. Like, one playthrough should be the playthrough, you shouldn't have to... I don't know, that is just me, it's not a universal opinion, but I think... No, I don't know what I've done wrong here. I've done something wrong, I'm not sure what I've done wrong. Maybe if I turn all these on. Oh, okay. Well, this was my short video on Undertale. Obviously I can't do a full playthrough, and there's only so much I can do, and so much I can say about it. I've also got a sore throat, if you didn't hear. But this was my Play Pleas of this month. Please leave a rating if you enjoyed. Thanks a lot to my Patreon supporters for supporting and making this possible. And if you have any strong thoughts on the games I've done videos on, I would be happy to hear them. And yeah, look forward to next month. This is me, Evans with Z11, and this is me out. Peace.